gotta drive to my other building now. It's not my other building. The place I work's other building. Not that anyone was probably thinking it was my building. Anyway, this is about Victoria Peak, and I don't want to throw out any rabbit holes or well, no, I already went down a rabbit hole. Don't want to throw out any conspiracies, but I thought if there's anything to rabbit hole, like it would be Victoria Peak, because it's like the very first thing that he rabbit holed. And I mean, I have a lot of thoughts, but I'm not going to talk about all of them. I'm going to talk about one thing specifically, and that will be March 4th, 1949. On March 4th, 1949, Doc Noss had unburied all of his gold bars. And when I say all, like the best I can tell is there were approximately 200 of them, and that he had taken out over a 2-year period, and they weighed 80 pounds apiece. And he essentially took them out and he buried them. It was illegal to sell gold, and so you had to sell on the black market, and you would get like a fraction of like what it's worth today. And so like, I think that like the intent was to bury it and hide it until it was sellable. And obviously they put in like a land rights for the land and all that, but like that's beside the point of this story. He made like a business deal with someone. My guess is because he was broke. Because even though he had all this gold, he couldn't sell it, so he had no money, and he was trying to like get access to the land and like reopen like the mine shaft that he broke in. Like, that's what greed gets you. Like, I mean, you couldn't sell it, so like you had no rush. So for like 6 years, 8 years, just maybe not every day, but like, don't tell anyone about it. Just go in there for like 8 years, slowly take out piece by piece. But let's just take this a step back. 200 gold bars. An 80-pound gold bar, I think, is worth $5.4 million. So we're talking about just over $1 billion in today's realm is how much gold Doc Noss had. So like, I mean, sure, like there was a lot more treasure in there that he could have got out, but like at the point that he had value in that gold, he would not have needed any more. Like, he had a very ample supply. But I think greed and like wanting to like get more and like, I don't know what really motivated him, aside maybe just the fact that he couldn't turn it into cash made it feel like he didn't have enough of it. And like, I don't know, maybe he just got treasure hungry, but like he had a ridiculous amount. But he made it like a business deal with someone where he would then be able to like utilize that person to help him sell it on like the black market. And so him and Tony Jolly helped him like dig up all of his gold bars, and he had them all together like the day before. And I don't know if Tony Jolly helped him dig them all up, or what I'm about to say, which is that the day before, like he had like some feeling inside that the guy, Charlie, I don't remember his name, but that's not important to the story either, that guy was going to, but he got acquitted, interestingly enough. Like, he didn't even go to jail. Well, he probably was in jail while he was in trial, but like, yeah, he got acquitted. I don't remember why, but anywho, he thinks he's going to betray him. And so all the gold bars that he's dug up, these 200 gold bars or somewhere around there, he then reburies them. And Tony Jolly, I know Tony Jolly, like the story goes, I've read some stories where like a unnamed person helps him, or people, or Tony Jolly by name. And I read like a really detailed account that like mentioned Tony Jolly by name and like seemed to be like the most reputable account of things, and also like had like statements from him and like his recollection of like what took place. And that was, Doc Noss was paranoid. He wanted to rehide all the gold bars. At that time it still didn't really have value, so I don't think that like Tony Jolly, I don't think he was like, well, I have no idea, I read an article, but like based on the tone of the article, it made it seem like he was not like gold lusty like Doc Noss was. Like, what, he wanted gold, sure, but like I think he was more scared of the fact that the next day the business partner shot Doc Noss in the head and he died. And the story said that like Tony Jolly was essentially afraid for his life because he thought that maybe Doc had told him that like who else knows where it is or whatnot, and I don't know that he knew the details. So I think in his head, based on this article, he thought that his life was in danger, and he fled, like left town immediately. And he says that later on he drew maps of where he thought that the treasure was located, and that he'd given it to a friend or friends, and that over the years he hadn't really heard from like a lot of them anymore, so he assumed that they found it and just like lived their best life, and like they just never crossed paths again, because I don't think he ever went back, or it wasn't until like way later, and I don't think he ever found anything or was connected to finding anything, or I think. But anywho, now let's insert the middle of the story. The night before he died, after he's re-hidden all the bars, like the same night, great uncle Alton Posey meets up with him and like gets told secrets. Like that's told explicitly that he had secrets to tell, and or that he had told him secrets, or yeah. And like the secret wasn't that he was going to die, so like I'm assuming the secret was that he hid the 200 gold bars. And then if you mirror that with what Tony Jolly said, that he drew maps for a friend or friends, like it's at least reasonable to suspect that one of those friends could have been Alton Posey. And it is almost insinuated in the Treasure Tempest that reality is, the allure of that possibility is there. And so that means that potentially one of two people on this planet knew where $1 billion worth of gold was, that was extracted from Victoria Peak. I'm not saying that it didn't disappear, like that Justin's ever seen it or whatnot, but I think there's like a legitimate chance that like someone in his family had direct access to accessing gold that was retrieved by Doc Noss and hidden by Tony Jolly, that was on the same day that Alton Posey was. Like that's what's insinuated. Like I'm not making this up. This is not a conspiracy. That chapter, if you actually look into the history and what happened that day, and then what they say in the in-between, like it is strongly insinuated that Alton Posey may or may not have found part of Doc Noss's Victoria Peak treasure. Yep, that's all I know. I don't know anything else. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if it's not true. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying there's more than 1% chance, I feel like. Like, it's a legitimate angle to investigate. That's it. But if it were true, that's like badass kind of. Like, that, if that were true, he might have been able to invest a hefty chain, or a hefty chunk of change in Netflix in 2003. Like maybe he's like, Grandpa Posey, I know you know the secret. 1 gold bar. Just break it out. No one needs to know about it. We just translate that into 5.4 million. We put that on Netflix in 2003. And oh my God. He should be having like 100 treasure hunts right now, because that's a lot of money, obviously. That's fun to think about. And that's like, I think that's the point of treasure, is obviously the allure and excitement of like riches. And that's definitely what this is. All right. I've arrived. It's not my building, but the other building of my offices, of my company's offices. There's no confusion. I gotta go. Goodbye.